Hello, this is a tutorial I'm making to show you the process of making a high poly mesh. This will use Zbrush, uses 3D Coat and Maya, back to 3D Coat for the final retopology of the whole model, but that happens at the end. So what I'm showing you here is the model I'm currently making and the process that I go through to do each part. I've made this quick little sub menu here for quickness. You can see all these parts that I've been making here as well. Okay, so let's say I've got this really rough base mesh here, and let's say I want a model is butt. Model is butt. Just solo this off. You can see I started with a approximate mesh, but it's got all bashed in so that the new parts show through. So like for instance this part sat on the back there. I can't show it here, but it would basically sit on the back like so. I've had to push this guide mesh, if you like, the concept mesh back in the way because it was poking out, so it ended up the guide mesh gets all bashed in at these areas and it loses all the form, but that's not important. What's important is all these subtools that make it up. Right, so let's do this butt area, and if I turn solo back off I'll get to see the area in question. So I've been using Dynamesh on this, so I've got some little artifacts here, but they don't really matter. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift, and this gives me this select lasso, and I'm going to mask off the area I want to work on. Just solo that off now, and Control Shift and Alt will mask away these areas I don't need. And there's a button here, it says delete hidden. I don't want to do that just yet. I really want to make a clone of this, so let me just bring everything back by Control Shift and tapping. It brings everything back, and I want to duplicate this guy because I want to keep this original mesh. Right, so again, Control Shift, choose the area that I want to work on, take away the other parts. Okay, so that's this area here is the area I want to remodel. So now if I go to this delete hidden, which is here, but I've got it in my little quick menu, I just press A and I've made this little custom menu, stuff that I use a lot. Delete hidden. Okay. Now I did have this set up so that it went straight to 3D Coat, and I could work on it there, but I was having problems, so now I'll just do it the standard way. I'll just export, and it will export this current subtool, and I've got it set up as a temporary object. I just constantly overwrite this temporary file. 3D Coat's open. It was the last part I worked on there, and it was just a case of retopologizing that back part. You can see the area that I extracted and exported, then I worked on the actual area that I needed. So if I just tap new there, continue, import model for reference mesh. Find it's already locked into that folder anyway. Just load my temporary file. Click on the retopology tab there, and it kind of jumps up because I've got this all messed about. I really don't need that there at all. I could do with cleaning this up. The way all these windows keep appearing is really annoying. Right, so I'm using the mouse buttons, middle mouse button left and right to navigate here in 3D Coat, middle mouse button pans, left to rotate around and right to zoom in and out. The method I'm going to use here is quads, and that means I can start to retopologize using these quad areas, but I'll need to start with some points and faces. In fact, points and faces is a lot better for this. I find you create 4 points, you right click and it will create a poly. In this case it looks as though it's working on the left hand side. There's no symmetry on, but if I press S I'll get this symmetry option panel up here. So, symmetry across the X, and show the symmetry plane so I can see what's going on. I tend to take it away, mind you, after I've got the middle section done. So I'll just start retopologizing this area. And what it does is, once you've made 4 points worth of stuff, you hover around the middle and you'll get this kind of suggestive area. Should I like make a poly here, and then you right click and it creates one. Left click to create your points, and right click to create a poly once you've got that suggestion area. Okay, and you can right click on the verts and drag and bring them into place as well. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back once I've done this whole area. Be right back. Okay, I thought I'd come back halfway because I'm thinking of some important stuff. Like you can see here, I've not really covered this area, and I don't want to have to like redo all this topology here, but there is this tool called split rings, and if you hold it in between the vert, it'll follow the topology around and it'll create the right kind of split ring you need. So I can just tap that there and it will automatically resurface to this base mesh. So back to quads, back to points and faces, and I'm just clicking where I need the vert and just making these polys appear where I need them. See, sometimes you end up with a triangle. Just move that across a little bit and it should be a better approximation for it, not to make a triangle. It all depends on your topology if you want triangles there or not. Like I want to keep this going, so I don't want a triangle just to end it. Now for quickness I could have did this, you know, just in big areas like big areas like that, but you find then it's hard for it to approximate where this goes, and that one managed. Sometimes it gets really tricky, so I'll just undo that. So you kind of want to work close, so it's easy for the program to find out where you want that poly. But you could easily go bigger areas, like I could go away over here and it'll find that, no bother. And then I could go ahead and do the split rings on it, you know, stuff like that. Put one there. But working like this isn't very logical. You need to kind of work. The way I like to work is like off itself, one by one. Like I'll start going across here, like this. Then I don't want to start going like across here or something like that, because it'll get messed up. So usually just go one way and then work off it like that. That way I'm just clicking once as well to make one vert, to make the rest of it tie up. It's quite a quick method. It's kind of like tiling, funnily enough. So, which is my profession anyway. Tiling in a digital sense, and you get away with a lot more here than you do in real life in someone's kitchen or bathroom, to be honest. Right, okay, so you just carry on making your topology like this until you've got the area that you need, and I'll be right back when I've done that. Another thing to note, you'll notice that I've got these kind of rectangular parts here I could go ahead and split it across here, or not worry so much, because when I bring it into Zbrush I'm going to smoothen all this out and it will relax everything anyway. There is a relax function here, and you click on it, it will relax things a bit more, which is okay, but you can see it's starting to split up this division here, so I don't really want that, because I want to keep this whole division intact. So you just have to watch it, especially if you've got symmetry on. Okay, I'll be right back. Right, so as I'm coming up to the edge here, I just want to split it across this way, here and here. This way my edge loop follows round this way. It's just one of those things that's quite important. This edge I'm not worried about, it's going to get tucked away underneath another part in the mesh, but I'll just make it as clean as possible. I'll just pull that bit across to the symmetry plane. I like to just add this extra bit of geometry around the edge just so that I can tuck it away. So I noticed on a few parts that I did earlier, I did cut them a bit short, and then I couldn't really pull this away anywhere to make the whole thing without any holes in it. Excuse me. Sorry if you hear some buzzing as well, because there's something wrong with my computer. It just creates buzzing noises when I'm trying to record. It could be this headset, or it could be my PC needs earthed or something. Right, so that should be that bit, and I can go ahead and add split rings where I feel where you see these grey areas coming out, that's usually the area where you want to add some extra looping, but it's not really important. Just want to average things out a little bit, and you can see if I go to the edge here it goes all the way around, which is what you want there. I'll just put an extra bit there. Right, so I've got that ready to an extent. I've got these grooves going this way, but I'm going to completely change. I'm going to change that when it comes into ZBrush. I'm going to average this out and clean it up a bit, which I'll show you. So I've got a plugin for this 3D coat to export it into Maya, but if you haven't got that, you just export as a OBJ and then re-import it to Maya. So I'm going to use the export to Maya, and you can find this in the 3D coat site, which links it to Maya. The first thing I've got to do actually is apply the symmetry. So apply symmetry to all layers. And export to Maya. And I've got that temporary object file, puts it in that location. Open up Maya, new file, new scene, import, and because I've been working in this location, it's right there. So here it is in Maya, and in Maya if you hold down the Alt key it's the same controls as 3D coat, just that you have to hold down the Alt key. If you press press 5 in the keypad, then you'll get different versions of this. Right click and choose, as long as you've chose the object, you can right click and choose edge mode, and I'm just going to double click, hold down shift and double click, and that's going to continue a line right around the edge there. Again, hold down shift and double click where I want some extra creasing. That's the whole idea of getting into Maya, is to do some extra creasing, because it's got a really cool tool for that. Now, seeing as it's the butt, I'm just thinking where I want all my hard edges, so I'm going to want one here, here. You know, if you ever heard the term robo butt, then it's like a square butt. So I'm just going to make some squarish areas. Just one across the top here. I'm just making sure that these seam lines, they kind of go all over the bit here. Oops. I'm going to take them away by holding down shift and clicking on them again. Put some extra lip in here. And take those away. Now symmetry is not applied here. I'm not really bothered about it. This means I have to work on each side. Now that I've got that done, press 5, and I get this shaded view. I've got all sorts of craziness happening now, and I don't know what the hell I've done. Okay, don't know what the hell I've done here, sorry. I just want to work on the object, guys. What the hell? I think I've lost my edges. I'm just going to undo until I get back to that. There we go. Right, I'm not going to bother about the shading mode. I just want that to look like that, and then go to Proxy, Crease tool, and drag the middle mouse button until it goes up to 10 there. And that's going to create some extra edge loops where I need them there. Okay, it's a bit untidy up here, but I'm not too fussed. Extra polys there, it's okay. And I shall go Z. So I'm going to go Z. No mesh was exported. Here we go. So make sure select it. Click go Z. I get this warning about the student version of Maya, but not to worry. And that's going to bring it in, overlapping this model as another subtool. So if I've got my subtools now, I can get rid of the one that I was messing about with, this extraction, the one that I'd copied and took areas away. I can get rid of that. Okay, I know it's undoable, just take it away already. Right, so it's just not being cooperative at the minute. It's like, oh, what? So come on. I'm just going to pause the video just in case it's that. Okay, so it was the video. Screen record really bugs me off because it stops things from working. Right, so I've got solo mode on here, and you can see I've got this new mesh brought in. There it is there, and I need to push this the reference mesh in so I can see it, or raise that one out. Either way, I like to just smoothen out the original mesh, or oops, draw it in the way. It's not the best material to use in this at the moment, so I'll use this one, RGB, and I'll fill the object. Yeah, fill that object as well. Into world. In fact, that's the wrong object I want to fill. It's a new one. And I'd best to rename it as well and call it butt. This is butt. And now when I divide, you can see it's kept these hard edges from the crease tool in Maya, which is a lot better than the chamfer tool in Max, because for some reason Max likes to make a mess of it. I've tried that, so Maya's the way to go, using the Proxy crease tool on selected edges. So here I'm just sculpting away some hard surface kind of stuff that I want. And I'm using shortcut keys because I'm kind of used to them, these combinations. You press B for brush, you press I, you get all the things begin with I, and then you press what you need, like I tend to use inflate, B and H for the hard brush, and hold down shift for the smooth. And at this stage I'll just be experimenting on what I want it to look like. I could have done that on the base mesh, but the butt area is such a difficult area to shape up. Like, you don't want it to be too attractive on a big mech kind of model, because at the end of the day he's badass, he doesn't really have a nice butt, you know. I just want it to conform to the overall design, so I'm trying to think of something, just drawing in some ideas here and there, see what works. I'm just pulling these edges in, but I'll pull other parts out. And if I hold down Alt and tap where the model is, it will switch to the other subtool there. So I can actually just either pull this part in like that, or what have you. So Alt and tap, and that will select this model. I'm just going to mask away this side here, so that when I pull this edge in, I just want to pull it in so that it acts as a kind of point that I can cover over. So I can cover over the back of the thigh here, the kind of hamstring area. That way all the holes are covered, because there's some areas in the rest of the mesh where you could see through, and I had to pull areas around, and I was pulling on bits that I'd already did some work on. So it's good practice. It's the first hard surface model that I'm going to do from scratch anyway. For some reason that's not working now. It's working, but it just doesn't seem to be doing much. Masking still on there, that's why. You need to watch your materials. Sometimes they look as though they're already masked. You know, you could mistake certain shadows for masked areas. So basically that's how I do that. And then let's say I had the overall model, you know, done, then the whole thing would be turned into one mesh, like really just all mashed together. And I think you do that here, you can merge visible. So let me just save it and try this. Not really crossed that point yet, but I'll see if I can work it out in my head just now. Usually I've got a friend who knows all this stuff, and that's why I pass it on to you guys, because it's really valuable stuff. This workflow is really cool. So when I've got the whole shebang done there, I can just delete this. It will hide the base mesh. Let's say that's the whole model done with all these parts. I would merge visible, I think. Merge visible, let's see, the merge visible will merge all subtools into one tool. A new tool will be created in a tool palette. Okay, so there it is, there's the merged. So if I drag that out, press T, Control N, drag out, press T, okay. And you can see it's just one subtool. I'll just give it one basic material, mRGB, fill object, okay. So there's our final, let's see, that's our final mesh. The whole thing's just one solid mesh. And then I would really decimate this. So I use the plugin Decimation Master. What I'll do is I'll just duplicate it first in case anything goes wrong. Then I've nothing to worry about. So I'll just hide that one, and I'll work on the first one here and go to pre-process current. In fact, I want the percent of decimation. So this 20% is what you want to be left with. 20% of the whole mesh. So if I go for 100%, it's going to keep the whole thing. If I go for 10%, I'm going to get 10% of the current poly count. So I just want it so this number's really decent. So 10% of 5 million is 500,000. The 3D coat is going to handle maybe in up to 100,000, so I want to bring this right down. So 74,000 polys should do me. Pre-process current, you have to do that first, and it will do this little analyzing mesh thing here. Now for the sake of this I'm going to pause the video just in case it's using up processor speed, so I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been decimated, I think, or it's still decimating. It's just about decimated. Oh, right. No, I don't think it's done very much. That, oh yeah, that's the pre-process bar. It's not even decimated yet. Right now I have to actually decimate the current, so that was pre-process. Now I have to decimate it. Okay. Oh yeah, and it's done it now. So that is pretty good. Now if you look at the polyframe, you can see everything's just crazy the way it's made it up, but that's really good. I can tell the difference between those two there. That's how good that is. So you see if I switch between them here, then very little difference, which is what I want. So now I can export. I'll just delete that one. Okay. Yes, it's undoable. Hold on, this part I need to pause the video, it doesn't work for some reason. Okay, I'm back, just for that one click. Right, okay, so now it's not completely watertight, and it's going to give me some crazy problems here when I retopologize all of this and project all of this onto like a retopology, but it's the same process really. I take this into 3D coat, which I'll show you. So if I export, and I'll call this main mesh, come into 3D coat, file new, no, continue, import for like import reference mesh, main mesh, and there we go. It's not quite clean and tidy as you can see here, but I could do another decimation of the high poly and it will be projected on a retopologized version of this. So let's say I want to do the retopology just now, then it's a case of how many polys do I want to make it up of and things like that I'll need to think of. But again, it's just points and faces, you know, and start to build this guy up. And I tend to just do them in big clunks like this, and then I'll add those edge loops later. So if I start run about his waist and work up, and then from the waist working down. So you don't want to go from like head to toe, because you might put more detail in his head or something, and then you have to sort of kind of decimate as you go, kind of thing. So I'm just going to clunk all these big squares in like this, and you can just adjust these with the right mouse button, and it's just finding whatever point I click on the mesh and then treating that as the new mesh. And to get this new mesh out, I'm just really going up to the retopo and exporting, but I will have to apply symmetry because I'm working with a symmetry plane. So once that is done, then I would use xnormal, and this process I'm not sure about. I know that you'll have this low poly version and your high poly decimated version. You do something in xnormal and you get a lovely normal map from it. You can then work on that, cleaning it up in 3D coat, and I will show you that when it comes to it. But for now, that's really the process, the whole process. But I'm just doing all these parts one by one, make them look hard edged, and then hopefully the whole thing will look sweet when it's done. So I hope that helps you guys. That's a half an hour tutorial for you. Get 3D coat. It's the educational license is less than 70 quid, but you get 30-day trial on it, and I use it for painting as well. In fact, I'll show you some painting. In fact, to do painting, you'll have to do UVs on it. You have to do a UV map, and yeah, I'm not going through anymore. that's all for one day. I'll show you that when it comes to it. Alright guys and girls, have fun. I'll see you guys later.